All right, I'm going to do a full build on a table that I dreamt about for like freaking a month and a half probably. Okay, so this dream involved real scorpions, real snake skeletons, sunflowers, roses, and a shit ton of crystals. And I'm not talking like any crystals. I'm talking like dogtooth amethyst, raw malachite, tiger's eye, fusite, kyanite, things like that. All right, so I made this bench a few, 2 years back, and I just never marketed it. I went through a transition of buying a house and moving, and I kind of just forgot about it. Then it made its way into my house as our coffee table, and I quickly replaced it with a burl, slab that I finished with resin. So I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm going to turn it into this dream table that I've been thinking of, right? All right, so first things first, I have to get the finish off of here. And I do that just by sanding it down, cleaning it up with isopropyl alcohol. Now I'm going to build a half of a mold. I want the back side of this to have the live edge on it, and I'm going to show you guys how I make my half molds. I'm going to basically build this frame around the three sides of it, and I'm not using the whole slab. I'll use the other part for like a side table or knives or something like that. All right, so these 90-degree clamps right here, they are life. Like, they will help you get your, see, I didn't want that line. They will help you get your 90-degree angles so that way you can make a decent table. I got them off Amazon. They also got them on TikTok Shop and stuff like that. I'll link them down below, as well as everything else that I use in this build. And all the little stuff like the tape and all that you can find on my Amazon storefront, as well as the caulk that I prefer, because, oh my gosh, I cannot stand most caulks, at all. So this is the way that you're going to keep all of the resin inside of the box that we're making. And this is called a mold or a frame. Now, because I'm not adding a back to this, I want that live edge there, I'm putting caulk along the seams of here. So the one in the back is a backup. So if any resin goes past the first seam, it's going to get caught by the second one. So it's basically like insurance. All right, so I am using a tabletop resin. I always use Promise Epoxy for my table builds, unless somebody wants me to do a review. But this is Promise Epoxy tabletop resin. This gold right here is like a float to the top gold. I found this artist on Instagram, and he makes these resin geodes, and he sells his own products as well as me. I really like supporting small artists, other artists, things like that. So that is a float to the top. I'll link it down below. I don't have a promo code or anything for you guys. It's just a really good product. So I will link that down below. It's called Earth Made by Nature or something like that. Like I said, I'll link it down below. The purple has a black dye in it. The black dye is from Alumilite, and the purple is from Eye Candy. I will link those down below as well. All right, so if you put flowers or food or anything in resin, you have to dry it out. You have to. You have to. Your stuff will fail. Do you understand? A lot of people always comment on my videos on social media, and they're like, oh, it's gonna fail, it's this, that. I've been doing this a long time, and I push products to the limit, and I know what I can and can't do, and I promise if I can do it, I'm doing it. And I know how to dry things out. I know how to freeze dry. I know how to, these right here I dry with silica. If you don't know how to dry flowers, I'm gonna link the video up top. When you dry your flowers in silica, they stay so freaking vibrant. Look at these colors. Those yellows and orange and red, and that is because I dried them in silica beads. And the quicker you get them into silica, the better. So I'm just finding placement for all of everything that I want to put in here, like the pods and all of those things. And I like to make sure that the center of, right here, the center of my flower is showing. I don't want any petals covering that up. I really like all of the details of the flower to show. So I take my time to make sure that everything is just so. These are little Sprite roses that I got. I save every flower that comes into this house, and me and my girl always buy flowers for each other. So yeah, everything just gets saved. And as far as the pods and stuff, those get gathered when we go on our walks and when we go in the woods and things like that. All right, so here are the snake skeletons. And I want to do something with some bigger ones, but these are the ones that I started with. I just wanted to see, like, this is what I envisioned in my head. And here's the scorpions. Like I said, I'm linking everything down below. I think I got a 6-pack of the scorpions. I've also got some exotic beetles and things like that. But you want to be sure that everything is dried out, because water and moisture and resin do not mix. So you have to make sure that everything is dried out, or else this is going to fail. And if it doesn't fail right away, I promise it's going to fail very, very soon. All right, so I'm getting everything in there. Just look at that. Isn't that freaking cool? Like, that is freaking cool. All right, so I'm doing this video in 2 parts. So this is going to be the first part. This is just getting everything together. And then the second part is going to be the actual pour and the finishing. So here's the crystals that I'm adding in here. And did you like the touch with the rose in the scorpion stinger? I really, really like that. That's one of the most vivid things that was in my dream. All right, so let's add crystals. We're getting fusite, and I like this rainbow fluorite right here. I got some dogtooth amethyst, and I basically gathered all of these. These are from Stardust Blessings. She sent a box when I was doing my Geode courses, which I am doing an updated one, by the way, because I use a lot more products now, and some malachite. So I didn't want this table to be crazy expensive, so I broke a piece off of this bigger malachite, and I'm just gonna find placement for everything in here. When you're making a piece, everything should flow. Like, nothing should stop the eye and not let it keep going. Does that make sense? So I'm very careful with the placement and just making sure that everything flows. And basically this video right here is cut down to about 9 minutes, but I promise it took me a few hours just to get everything in place. Like this video right here, even the first half started out at 7 hours, and I broke that down into 9 minutes. If you want to see more about like how I come up with the layouts and things like that, I can do my best to make a video for that, but I think it kind of has to just come to you. Like I said, I dreamt this for damn near 2 months, and I knew what I envisioned in my head. All right, so I wanted some more kyanite in here, and I like the fan pieces. It more so speaks to what I want this piece to look like. So I'm gonna add a few of those in there and a couple more ammies, and I think we're about set with that. So after this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna drizzle a resin over the top, and this is gonna make sure that nothing moves. Like, you don't want shit to start floating, and then you're screwed. All right, so I'm gonna work on part 2, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and do a condensed whole video. I really like breaking things down for you guys, but I do know that some of my audience likes just the condensed video and watches it not for information, but just for, I'm going to say, like, entertainment purposes. You know, they like to see a build come together, and I like to provide that for you guys. But I also like to take the time to show you guys exactly what I'm doing so you can do something like this as well. All right, so I'm using a deep pour resin. The reason that I'm doing that is because I'm working with botanicals, and I don't want a bunch of air bubbles messing up this piece. So this resin is a 2-to-1. If you don't know how to choose your resin, I'll link a video up top that shows that. If you want to see more videos like this, whether it be how to start a resin woodworking business or a resin business, or watching satisfying as pours, follow, like this video, share. I appreciate you guys, and anything I use is linked down below. I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 10K followers for makers and for watchers, so stay tuned for that. Smash that like button.